everybody, welcome to Paragade After Hours, a podcast where we talk about nerdy shit, video game shit, and most of the time gay shit. I'm your host, Joe. You can find me on Paragade, and this week I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Alex.
Hi, Alex!
Hi.
This is one of my best friends, Alex. We talk about video games a lot.
We do.
Yes, we do. And figured why not capitalize off of that and just, maybe make money someday. Talk about video games.
I'm down.
So, this week we're going to be talking about certain video games. This is another week where I'm taking a break from alcohol because I realize how delicate my liver is. And I just, I'm 25. I want to live to at least 28. So, maybe just take a 2-week sabbatical from whiskey, and then after that I'll be fine.
I'm sure the damage will be repaired.
Oh, it'll be fine. It's like if I think really hard about it, and I think really positive thoughts about my liver, it'll be like, oh, it's gonna get better. But
on the other hand, though, I would rather be a good liver than have a good liver, so...
Exactly. Be the liver you want to be. So, this week, we are drinking coffee made by, again, the lovely, lovely Alex.
That's right.
Yes.
I got it from Publix. It's good.
It's delicacy. So, okay. This week, we're going to be talking about a game that came out, earlier this month, I think? We're going to be talking about Metal Gear Survive. You've played the game. I haven't played the game. So, let's start off with your first impressions of Metal Gear Survive.
I'm going to be blatantly... I'm just going to be really honest with you. So, I played the beta.
Yeah.
And by played the beta, I mean I downloaded it.
Yeah.
I started it.
Yeah.
And I could not find a match. I actually thought that I mentioned this. So I started the beta.
Yeah.
The pre-game,
right?
When you're picking missions or whatever.
Mm.
It's this weird, Matrixy kind of, it seems like you're in, cyberspace or whatever, and you're walking around, and, and all the, the things that would be menu options pretty much, materialize from the floor.
Right.
So you've got, all the crafting places, and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I couldn't figure out any of the menus. That's on me. But I tried to look for a game, and it took forever, and I had other things to do. So...
I feel like that's still, a worthy enough first impressions where you're just kind of like, wow, they couldn't even do the beta right.
Yeah, and I understand that it seems to happen in a lot of betas where... I guess they, miscalculate the load of players that they'll have.
Yeah.
I know that happened with, when I played the Dragon Ball Z Fighterz beta, that happened as well, but at least I was able... When I played that one, I could at least play, the tutorial or whatever. But for Metal Gear Survive, I ran around in the weird Matrix cyberspace menu thing, and I was able to stab at stuff with a spear, and
So, tell me about the spear thing, because anytime I've seen, any gameplay videos, I'm like, this is Metal Gear, it's supposed to be shooting guns. How did the spear feel?
So, personally, I'm really interested in all sorts of zombie-based stuff. Right. So, I was interested in Metal Gear Survive from a story perspective. I was wondering why everything happened, so I looked up a ton of stuff. Yeah. And what was the question? I'm sorry.
So how was the spear mechanics?
Oh, the spear mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was talking about has nothing to do with
No,
that.
you're fine.
Spear mechanics were bad.
They looked bad. They looked particularly bad.
Yeah, and it wasn't... I couldn't even, imagine, zombies coming at me with the spear, just shivving the air with the spear. So, yeah, I don't know if the game would be better with guns. When I looked up, YouTube videos of it, I thought it was really cool that they had, the little baby Metal Gear, walking turret things. That was fucking sweet. If I could have used that.
Yeah.
But then again, I would just be using it in the little menu cyberspace thing.
Right.
So I mean,
there's not a whole lot to contextualize it, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is fair. From what I saw of the gameplay footage and all that, it's basically a reskinned Metal Gear Solid 5, which I love Metal Gear Solid 5.
From what I saw, it didn't even look necessarily reskinned.
Yeah.
I watched one video where they said that one map was just Afghanistan, but with fog all over it. That's not even
that's not even
that's the same map with fog on it.
Yeah.
If it had the same terrain but with I don't know, bushes and trees or something, and you couldn't see the sky because it was treetops,
right,
that would be a reskinned, they reskinned Afghanistan to look like a jungle or something.
But it's not even that.
No, it just it was apparently just fog.
Just fog, just so that way it's just it's a new map, just because you can't see it.
Right.
Yeah.
It really preserves the mystery.
Well, because that was one of my, I guess, kind of main things I was thinking would be this game's saving grace, was the fact that it's how can you fuck up Metal Gear Solid 5? It's if you're gonna literally just repackage.
How do you fuck up a game that was already released that was good? Yeah,
how do you fuck that up? And then when you look at the gameplay footage for the spear, the fact that you could just set up a little box and then you're just on top of the box. Turns out zombies can't climb boxes.
Right, yes, I do. I remember that. I think that they gave me a sword.
Yeah.
And this was before I had really looked anything up. The primary, or the default weapon was a sword, and I was this is fucking stupid. They'll give me a spear where I can, shiv zombies in the face from a little bit further away. Why wouldn't I use a spear?
Yeah.
Why would you even, And then when I looked online, it was everybody using the spear, and I was alright, apparently that's
the game breaker.
A common idea, yeah.
Yeah. And that in of itself is just you when playing Metal Gear Solid 5, there's so many different ways to approach the same problem. It's oh, hey, there's this guard over here. Maybe if I throw a magazine, I can distract him.
Right.
Or maybe if I toss this decoy, I can distract him. Or maybe I could just snipe him in the head. Either which way works.
Right.
And all those ways become fun in its own right. Whereas, this, it's everything feels inherently frustrating. It's just that the spear is the least frustrating.
That makes sense. If the menu wasn't already enough of an indicator that the game would be frustrating.
Yeah.
It definitely, the survival systems,
yeah,
having, getting hungry and thirsty and shit.
Yeah.
When I would watch videos of it and see, all the menus of, seeing your hunger meter and thirst meter and, all the, materials that you would collect, it just seemed if I had known that that's what the game would have been,
yeah,
I would not have even downloaded the beta.
And yeah, that is incredibly fair too, because up until just very, very recently, we didn't see a whole lot about Metal Gear Survive. Konami had been very explicitly quiet about this game up until just releasing it.
Right.
And it's once they released it, it's just we still haven't heard anything from them. They did, I think the most telling thing was the fact that they did no sort of developer commentary.
Right.
They were just these faceless developers, nobody needs to know about them. We don't need another Kojima. We don't need that. But the other thing I also saw was this essay from Kotaku, talking about kind of like the symbolism of the story of Metal Gear Survive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the whole idea is that basically you play as a faceless character,
right?
Who is trying to defend his boss, Big Boss, as he goes off to some other place, and then they get sucked into a wormhole to this desolate wasteland,
right?
Of just monotony, of just horribleness, and you could look at that as like an allegory for the team being left at Konami as their boss, Big Boss, goes on to make his own company.
Oh, that's so sad.
That is sad, isn't it?
Does that mean we're in the wrong universe?
Not specifically, because Kojima's off doing his own thing with Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus, and also with Guillermo del Toro.
Right.
Like, he went off to make his Diamond Dogs, basically. Like, he's making his Diamond Dogs. He has, a good idea going, hopefully. And I think that's the way we could look at it. We're in the particularly comfortable spot in that we see all realities, and in particular, we see the horrible reality of, the team left behind at Konami.
Oh, I just feel so bad for them.
Right?
They had a really good thing going for a little while, and then this.
And, yeah...
It did make me feel good, though, that I can spend just $40 to be extremely frustrated with hunger and thirst mechanics, though, and strange boxy inventories, and just, God, it looked so cool, and it looked like when it was good, and everything was,
clicking.
Right, exactly. If, all cylinders were firing, then this could have been... It was a good game, but even in, games that I really like...
Yeah.
I really like Bayonetta.
Yeah.
And I really like all the combos and, the combat and stuff.
Right.
But I've got to be, on my game to be making those combos. I have to really be paying attention.
Yeah.
So... Even in games that I like, it's not always as amazing as
kind of how everybody makes it out to be.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And that's a fair point. And, Metal Gear Survive, it really was on a very solid foundation. And it just really doesn't make any sense how they... it really feels like kind of a concentrated effort by the team at Konami, left behind at Konami, to just fuck this up. And to just say, it kind of feels, one, as a fuck you to fans from Konami, but it also feels like a fuck you to Konami in that they made basically a good game shitty. They found a way.
It's a sabotage. It was an inside job.
Which, if you've heard the stories, working at Konami, them, shutting off the internet, them shutting off the power during development and all that stuff.
Shutting off the power? What?
Yeah.
What power? The lights? Or
yeah.
What about the computer? They have to program, don't they?
Yeah. They would just do this to inherently just, get at them. Because, they worked under Kojima. There was a lot of infighting between Kojima and, the higher-ups of Konami. And, Konami just really, really didn't like him. And at some point, they were just fuck it, we're only making it so that you can use email for only work use, or something like that. Or we can only make it so that you go on the internet for certain things. So we blocked out certain things. Resources, basically. Things if you want to find, a text file, or if you want, a new font, or get a new sort of texture. It's you're fucked. And they made everything that they could to make it as inconvenient as possible to make this game.
That has definitely transferred to the gameplay. So that's nice.
So it really does seem Metal Gear Survive is in this interesting spot where it's just such a symbolic game. Not, I guess, in the context of its actual story, but more of, the development story that it represents.
In, a meta way.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yep. I mean, I guess that's one thing we could kind of appreciate about this game. Probably don't buy it.
No.
Yeah, but at least it's like, you know, in the grand scheme of video game history, we'll look at this game and we'll see, like, this meta-narrative coming from it.
Right, I'm glad that it exists. I don't want it anywhere near my computer or consoles or anything, but I am glad that it has been brought into the world.
It is very much a good thing. So, with that being said, I guess kind of moving on to the topic of Kojima himself.
Right.
And kind of the impact he left upon those games. And sort of seeing, like, you know, even when Kojima's not involved, like, how things might kind of fall apart. Like, I guess, what are your speculations or predictions for, like, what is Death Stranding or what his next games are going to look like now that he's kind of freed from these shackles?
So, does he have a boss now? Because before it was like Konami was his boss, but at this point, who's he like publishing with?
He's publishing with Sony.
Okay.
But Sony he's basically running his own independent studio with funding from Sony.
Okay.
So it kind of feels like, from what I gather from it, is that Sony gave him a blank check.
Right.
And they were just like, do your thing. We know you shit gold, so shit gold for us.
I mean, I enjoy really convoluted storylines like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
And I've never really played any of the games, but I have watched like lore videos of them I've talked to you about this because I know that I've watched them and I've come out of it being like, what the fuck did I just listen to and watch?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to me, but I cannot follow it for shit without like the context of the game, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But if that's what he made with bosses like Konami,
yeah,
then obviously from the trailers that we've seen of Death Stranding, so in one trailer, there were like the weird skeleton soldiers under a bridge, right? That was still Death Stranding?
That was still Death Stranding.
And now we have the fetuses and the weird eldritch horrors.
Yeah.
Okay, so honestly, I can't even begin to speculate. It looks like it's going to be fucking awesome. All that Lovecraftian shit is right up my alley.
Yeah.
But as far as gameplay goes, like, I have no fucking idea. It might be some kind of... It could be...
It could be a dating sim.
I hope. If only we could be so lucky.
If only we could be so lucky. We get to date Guillermo del Toro and Mads Mikkelsen.
Who's that?
Mads Mikkelsen, he played Hannibal.
What?
Yeah. He stars in the game. He was the guy with, like, the fucked up eye makeup with the skeleton soldiers.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was just... As soon as I saw Norman Reedus's computer-generated ass, I was just...
You were just transfixed.
I was. I don't know what to say. There were other people in it?
Yeah, there was Guillermo del Toro.
Oh. Where was his ass?
It was in a suit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a red and black suit, and he also had a funky fetus that was also in, like, one of the container thingies.
Huh.
I'm looking into your eyes right now, and all I see is this reflection of Norman Reedus' lovingly crafted ass.
It was a good trailer. I was transfixed.
Then you just see the little fetus, and then it disappears, and then there's, like, little handprints and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I even forgot about that. I remember it was some kind of weird, like, bottom of the ocean, but not really, like, strange setting like that, and then Norman Reedus' ass, and then disappearing baby, and then reappearing baby, but not really, with the little... Yeah, I remember. That was kind of a while ago, though.
That was the first trailer.
Right, yeah. And then the second one was Eldritch Horrors.
No, the second one was Mads Mikkelsen and the Skeleton Crew.
Oh, and then the third... Right, yeah, and then the third one was Eldritch Horrors.
Yeah. So, from what I've seen of, like, interviews with Kojima, because, like, when the first trailer came out, Kojima put out a series of tweets, of course being as cryptic as always, saying, like, you know, he loves the idea of strands. Everything's connected by a strand. Like, you know, it's like you connect this thing to this thing to this thing. And the internet, being the internet, decided to look at the high-res poster of Naked Reedus. And,
good call. Me too.
And he has a necklace which has, like, a bunch of, like, really thick dog tags.
Right.
And if you zoom in on them, it turns out that they have equations. These equations relate to string theory, which is the idea of multiple universes running in tangent.
This is not the direction that I expected this podcast to go.
You weren't expecting speculation on, like, string theory?
Well, I have a very basic understanding of it.
Yeah.
When it was explained to me when I was very high. Which most people would agree that that's probably the best time to learn about
string theory.
Right,
Yes.
Yeah. Just really any kind of complex philosophical
somewhat theory. Scientific theory.
Right. Scientific? Well, yeah.
I mean, it's theoretical.
Right.
Because we can't prove it, but we also can't disprove it.
Well, that goes for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Either way, if I had known that string theory would be a part of this, I might have maybe refreshed myself. Sans pot. But, you know, too late for that now.
Too late.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
The, equations. Math.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
The other thing he talked about was the idea of redefining death in video games.
Right. Yes. The people dying and the babies and...
Yeah, and the babies.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, the main theory coming out right now is that those babies are fast-aged to then become the person that was carrying said baby.
Right, yeah. It would be interesting if, I can't think of any games that, like, acknowledge in, like, a story setting how much you die and how bad you are at the game. Like, what if you have to get reincarnated, like, 90 times, or not reincarnated, but, you know...
Reanimated.
Right. Like, what if it's, like, 90 times and they're like, sir, we're running out of fucking fetuses. Please stop dying.
Like, what if there really is a finite amount of fetuses in this game, and eventually you, as the funky man, run out of funky fetuses from which you could imprint yourself upon?
There would really have to be, assuming the feti are made the old-fashioned way. Because, well...
I mean, they got the pods, so I'm guessing, like, they're not made the old-fashioned way.
Right, but do the pods generate fetuses? Do the pods generate, like... What if they have, like, the genetic material of the host, and then just create the fetus and, like, pause it until you die, and then, like, hit play really fast and hit
fast forward.
Yeah, by, like, 2 years at a time.
Yeah.
And, you know, just kind of button mash till you get to, like... 26, 20, however old he's supposed to be.
What if they fuck up and, like, you know, it's just like, you know, you're reincarnated as, like, a 16-year-old and you're just like, shit, I gotta go through puberty again.
What if it's like cooking meat in Monster Hunter and you control it?
And you got, like, a little, like, jingle and it's like a timer, like...
Yeah, you gotta hit the sweet spot.
Oh, shit. And then, like, as soon as you come out of, like, the funky fetus, like, shell, it's just, like, you know, so tasty.
Oh, yes. What if you just eat the fetuses to regain life? Maybe that's a possibility.
You know, it's a Kojima game, so I really wouldn't put it past him.
That's good.
Yeah. Like, considering the fact that, like, you know, we're talking about, like, you know, games where, you know, Otacon pissed himself, games where we play as a man waking up from a 9-year coma, being injected with steroids as he fights a fiery death man.
Right. Yeah. I was trying to think of the most interesting things from the Metal Gear series to me. It would probably have to be that you could you could set your PS2 clock forward and kill the old guy in 3.
Yeah.
And then probably all of the Psycho Mantis shenanigans.
Mm.
Those were my those two things really got me interested in what kind of like story the person that put these mechanics into the game would make.
And now he has the black credit card from Sony.
Right. So it's just going to be fucking crazy.
It's going to be
off the wall.
Oh my god. Another thing I also kind of want to talk about in regards to Kojima, just because it came up fairly recently. One, just thinking about, like, you know, Ready Player One from last week, and just kind of like the idea of, like, I guess, justification for stupid shit. So when Kojima was making Metal Gear Solid 5, he, you know, Quiet's design was released. A lot of people were like, why the fuck she look like that?
Right.
In a tactical military setting, like, what does this serve other than titties? And he's like, you're gonna be real sorry that you said that. There's a really good reason. And it turns out she breathes through her skin, which is the stupidest bullshit I've ever heard.
That is a great reason.
That is...
Excuse you.
That, like... And then you have someone like Yoko Taro.
Right.
Our wonderful baby boy, Yoko Taro, when they're asked, like, why is 2B, like, you know, a really hot cake-having android?
Right.
And he's like, I just like cute girls. Like, that's his whole justification for it. It's like, I just like cute girls. And then it's like, we can inject, like, you know, oh, they're androids. They're trying to emulate human culture. Because nobody really looks ugly in Nier Automata.
Right, true.
But in Yoko Taro's mind, all he really has to say is like, no, I like cute girls. And if I'm going to be playing a third-person game where I have to stare at this person's backside the entire time, I might as well like the backside.
That's a good point. Yeah, so what you're saying is the contrasting, whereas Kojima tried to work Quiet's titties into the story.
Yeah.
Yoko Taro is just like, I just like it.
Yeah, like, it's a kind of honesty.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess it would depend on, I guess the setting of the game, because...
Yeah.
I mean, in Metal Gear Solid, there was that one character, Fortune, or Fortuna, or something?
Fortune, yeah.
Yeah, Fortune, where, she couldn't get hit by bullets, and then, like, at the end, spoilers, it's some weird...
It's nanomachines.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in the context of Metal Gear Solid...
Yeah.
I respect it that was what he went for, because it's already off-the-wall, crazy military technology and biology shit going on. That's
his bread and butter.
Right. It fits within the framework of the game. Just because there's titties there, like... I still respect that. But I also... I also definitely respect Yoko Taro for just coming out and saying it.
Yeah.
Like, if Quiet appeared in a different game where, I guess also the history of Metal Gear Solid works in the favor of Quiet being included. Because he's done, like I said, he's done weird shit like that before.
Yeah.
But in I don't know, if there was a character that was almost completely naked in, like, Street Fighter,
yeah,
people might be like, oh,
well,
I mean, they are scantily clad frequently.
Yeah.
And that's just for funsies, but what if they were like, oh, well, you can see Sakura's tits because of nanomachines. That would be weird.
That would be weird. But it's like, for, like, Street Fighter, it's like, obviously, it's always spectacle. Like, you know, they're just like, well, one, it's like, you're gonna have to stare at these characters for however X long.
Right.
And it's like, for Quiet, because you're not playing as Quiet, it's like, well, why does she need to look like this? It's like, in this case, why don't I get a more scantily clad Big Boss? Like, why is he only shirtless? Why can't I put him in a banana hammock like I did, like I did in Peace Walker? Like, Peace Walker, you put him in a banana hammock, and...
Was it like a Borat, like, slingshot style
bikini? Nah, it was just, you know, something to hold the boys in.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was it. Like, you could wear that, and it felt sorely missed in Metal Gear Solid 5. It's been a while since I played it. I think they added that as, like, an extra costume.
Perfect.
So, but in the base game, when I was playing it, it was like, no, there's no banana hammock. And I'm like, well...
Did you return it? Did you return the game?
No, because I could still see him shirtless, and there were plenty of scenes where it's like, him and Ocelot were having horribly unresolved sexual tension.
Years in the making.
Years in the making. And then you got the ending, which has, like, Ocelot, like, lighting Big Boss's cigar, and I'm just like, oh... They did it. They confirmed it. It's canon.
I mean, even from... What was it, like, 4's ending, when it's two, like, shirtless old dudes beating the shit out of each other?
Yes.
Like, that was very obviously...
homoerotic.
An analogy for what they had done in the past.
Yeah. And then, like, what it turns out... I think it's, like, during the Metal Gear Solid 3 part of the fight, if Ocelot gets you into a chokehold, he actually gives you a kiss.
Ooh.
Like a little kiss on the cheek.
Gross.
It's so cute. It's so fucking cute. I love them. They are my OTP. Like, if there was ever an OTP for me, it would be Ocelot and Big Boss all the time, always.
Yeah, I know.
So, moving on from, like, you know, kind of these notable directors and their styles, let's talk about Sakurai. Masahiro Sakurai, director of Super Smash Bros. Yes. So he's coming back.
I am upset for one reason and one reason alone.
What?
Tripping is going to be reintroduced. That's not true.
Oh.
I'm just making a prediction.
Okay.
I saw your face. You all should have seen his face. He was offended.
No, I would have been like, so just, no, come on. Oh, God.
It was so nice when I would be losing and somebody could trip and I could just up smash and win.
Yeah.
Happened very rarely, but when it did, ooh, it was nice.
When was tripping introduced again? Was that Melee?
No, Brawl.
Brawl, okay. God. So, you know, building off of, like, what we were talking about last week with Smash Brothers, we had, like, a brief 5-minute discussion because, honestly, like, the meat of it was just, like, me talking about Beyonce Squid from Splatoon 2.
Right.
But Masahiro Sakurai is returning back to some sort of role for the new Smash Brothers. And in an interview with Famitsu, I think, he was saying, like, how they've been working on this game in secret for basically years now. So it's not a port of Smash Bros. 4 Switch. It's a whole new Smash Bros.
Are you shitting me?
I'm not shitting you.
I thought it was a port.
Nope.
Yes! Oh, God, I'm gonna have to buy a Switch.
Yeah, that's why people are basically dumping their Wii U's, because they realize, like, oh shit, it's a new one?
Oh. We've been overdue.
Yeah.
I've been overdue.
So, what was it? Like, I don't think Sakurai directed the last Smash Brothers. I think that was someone else, because he was working with Namco to basically make the last Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
As for this one, a lot of details are kind of scant right now. Basically, all we know is like the Inklings from Splatoon are going to be there. We have Breath of the Wild Link, we have Mario, and we have Sakurai in some capacity. He hasn't confirmed what capacity he's working on this in.
Character. He's going to be in it.
Oh, God. Oh, man, what did they put... Okay, hear me out on this.
Yep.
Because Hideo Kojima has been tweeting a lot about the Switch. I mean, one, because, like, Bayonetta's on there. But the other thing I'm just thinking about is, like, what if we can play as Hideo Kojima and we can play as Sakurai?
Is he Platinum?
Yeah.
He was already in fucking Nier,
wasn't
he?
Yeah, he was. So they could just take the models from Nier and just...
Yeah, there's precedent at this point. Didn't he, like, shoot faces at you or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's his final Smash, if they still have that.
Yep.
This is going to be good.
It's going to be great.
I hope that the EVO tournaments devolve into two Japanese businessmen in suits just beating the shit out of each other on Final Destination with no items.
Oh, please. Like, what if it turns out, like, the meta is just, like, so much in Hideo Kamiya and Masahiro Sakurai's favor?
It would truly be a Clash of the Titans.
It truly would be.
What if, Hideki Kamiya, Platinum?
Yeah.
What if he just was Bayonetta reskinned? Like, he just played like Bayonetta, but was a dude in a suit.
I would love that so much. Like...
It would almost be worth it for that. I could justify my $260 purchase of this game and a Switch.
Yeah.
To play as sexy businessman in a suit.
You know, that really makes sense. Oh my god. But, yeah, as far as, like, characters go, because Hideki Kamiya, again, Mr. Platinum, has come out and said publicly, like, you know, a Nintendo console without Bayonetta is like a Nintendo console without Zelda or Mario. Like, he's basically drawn this line in the sand that he's like, Bayonetta belongs on Nintendo consoles now. I am not putting Bayonetta on any other consoles.
Come on, man.
Yeah, no, he's drawn this line in the sand.
No,
Yeah.
That's a little frustrating, but I appreciate sticking to your guns like that.
Like, part of it is because, like, you know, he really thanks Nintendo for letting Bayonetta 2 just exist. Because if it wasn't for Nintendo's backing, like, that game would just not be alive.
Right.
So he's like, no. Like, if Bayonetta's, like, popular, I'm gonna make sure that I pay back these people for it by making this just a console exclusive from now on.
That's really awesome, and I'm kind of upset about it because I'm not... Like I said, I don't have a Switch.
Right.
And the controller is so unique. I'm sure I would like it if I spent, like, a week...
Yeah.
Playing with it and getting used to it,
right,
etc., etc. But at this point, like, it is still difficult for me to use, and that is what kept me away from Bayonetta 2, because I was very interested in that, and then Wii U exclusive.
Yeah.
So I'm...
Understandably, like...
I'm not going to buy a Wii U for Bayonetta, as much as I love it.
But, I mean, now you can buy a Switch for Bayonetta.
I can, and isn't it even cheaper than the Wii U when it came out?
Yes, actually, I think.
Perfect. I waited until the exact right moment.
Now I just gotta drop $300 and $40 on the game.
Is it $300? I thought it was $200.
It's like $300.
Fuck.
I know.
Well, whatever.
But, yeah, so with Sakurai coming back to this Smash Brothers again, which the other concerns that a lot of people had was, like, did you ever hear the stories he told about working on the last Smash Brothers?
No.
So he has kind of like, I think it's a problem with his wrist.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, where he had to get wrist surgery or something. And
right.
he insisted on playtesting the game. He insisted on this. Because he's like, no, this is my baby, I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna make sure it's working. And he would play it, and his fucking wrist would act up. He had to get surgery. He was out. He, like, worked, like, 7 days a week.
Was it, like, a carpal tunnel thing?
Basically. So he was telling, like, stories about this, and he was telling stories about, like, how, like, I think it was, like, Iwata and stuff would even come in and say, like, dude, go home.
Right.
Like, go home, get some rest. And he's like, no, this is my baby. And, like, a lot of people are worried that because he's returning back to this, it's like, are you gonna be okay?
Yeah, it's gonna be good, but there might be blood on that game.
Yeah, that was already, like, a problem with, like, the last Smash Bros. Is, like, you know, he told about his story, like, working on this game, blah, blah, and, like, people telling him, like, fucking chill, and he wouldn't.
That's really depressing.
Part of me is, like, it's depressing because it's, like, this man pours a lot of himself into his work, but that's also kind of, it's admirable in a way, because it's, like, he really cares about making this a good thing.
It totally is admirable, and I want to reward his efforts by buying it.
Yes.
But it just... Is this the price that we have to pay? Like, one dude just, like, fucking suffering to get a really good game?
You know, that is a good question. And, you know, it's like, I mean, compared to something like movies or something like, books, I can't think of any specific authors right now, but I'm sure there are stories of, like, you know, directors or whatever, you know, toiling away over this to make this kind of like their magnum opus. Like, devoting so much attention to this to make it, like, a wonderful thing.
Right.
When it comes to Sakurai, though, it's like, you know, there are clearly directors, there are clearly people like Yoko Taro, we already talked about,
right,
and Hideo Kojima, who go ahead and they have a life outside of video games. And they have a life outside of their work. And in the case of Yoko Taro, he makes sure his life stays fucking private by hiding behind a mask.
Right.
And in the case of Hideo Kojima, he's just like, you know, I like bikes and girls and punk shit. And I also like making games.
You know what this means, then. What? We need to get Sakurai a hobby. That isn't playtesting his own game. That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Mr. Sakurai, we here at Paragade care about your health.
We would like to implore you. Everything that I'm thinking of is very wrist heavy, so give me a second here.
I mean...
Biking?
No, that's also wrist heavy. Because you gotta use the wrist...
Unicycling. Please take up unicycling.
I feel like that would be more dangerous for him.
Well, not if he's good at it.
But he won't be at first. What if
you don't know that.
That's true. This might be his hidden talent. Then he'll devote himself only to unicycling.
If it makes him happy. He's already done so well. I do want more games from him, but yeah. I don't want him to hurt himself.
Yeah.
So just... put on those wrist guards and knee pads and stuff, and a helmet.
Yeah.
And pick up the unicycle.
This has been possibly one of the most monumentous moments for Paragade for me. We've helped a man discover his true self.
A unicycle. He is a unicycle.
He is a unicycle.
Thank God.
Thank God. Oh, God. Alright. So, speaking of Sakurai Smash Brothers, let's talk about fighting games as kind of like the closer of this episode. So, Dragon Ball Fighterz came out.
It did. Oh God, it did.
And what are your feelings regarding Dragon Ball Fighterz?
I love it.
Yeah?
I am not good at it. And that goes for... every fighting game in existence. I got really good at Mortal Kombat 10.
Yeah.
There was a really cheesy character, Tanya.
Yeah.
That in that game you picked your character and they had like 3 fighting styles.
Yeah.
So I found one that was super annoying. She had like this really long like naginata.
Yeah.
Like a spear type thing. And I was fucking unbeatable. People would send me hate mail. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But Fighterz is awesome, looks great, plays amazing, I do not play it amazing, but it does feel.
But it does
nice.
feel like you're amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if you're losing,
yeah.
it still feels like you're good.
Yeah.
It's one of the only games where, in theory, I like the like, really, like, heavy juggernaut, like, grab characters.
Yeah.
But in no game have I ever been good at them.
Yeah.
In this one, they give Android 16 his blow us both up suicide move.
Hey, you're just like, I'm taking you out with me.
And I won. I played probably 4 or 5 hours straight.
Yeah.
With one of my friends.
Yeah.
And I won all of like 3 or 4 games, or 3 or 4 like matches.
Yeah.
And it was solely due to I would kill one of his characters.
Yeah.
And then do the suicide move. And take another one out immediately.
Yeah.
I could only beat him if he was handicapped with 2 characters.
Yeah.
Because one of them was fucking going down.
You were just like, I found the strategy and it worked for me.
It did. And Noah, if you're listening, if you just move, if you just jump, I can't grab you. I wouldn't be able. He kept trying to like knock me out of it, and the grab move you start it, and then Android 16 like jumps forward a little bit, maybe a quarter of the screen, and every time he would try and hit me out of it, but it's got like super armor. I think that you can hit it like 3 or 4 times and it'll knock the super armor off. Yeah, but no, it happened like once.
I just love that you have like this little bit of a call out, just like, you know, if you move.
No, if you jump, if you vertical movement. But I didn't want to like highlight that point because that's the only way I was winning. Yeah. And literally like once an hour. Yeah. I would win. It was bad. Noah God. Is much better at the game than me. I can only win with shenanigans.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So, would you say, because one takeaway I've had people talk about with Dragon Ball Fighterz is that you've had a lot of different people from different fighting game communities kind of congregate on this game. Right. Because it's this common sort of thread throughout fighting games, sort of, I guess, culture, is that, you know, everybody loves Dragon Ball. Like, at least everybody within this sphere, it's like...
Right, it's like an animated fighting game before most people even, like, played fighting games. They probably watched Dragon Ball Z first.
Exactly. So, like, you know, the game I've heard a lot of people compare Dragon Ball Fighterz to the most is, like, Marvel vs. Capcom, like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And then you have people from, like, Guilty Gear come into this game, you have people from Street Fighter come into this game, you have people from Tekken even come into this game. And they find something to grab onto in this game. What do you think kind of makes this game unique?
Probably just the source material. There hasn't really... it was made by Arc System Works. Yeah. And they're known for just really fucking flashy, nice... air dashers, which is like anime fighting games pretty much. Games where you can air dash. Yeah. So I think the combination of just like the source material and a bomb-ass company like Arc System Works making it. Yeah. And it's interesting that you said that. If you're not familiar with fighting games, they all look... They don't look similar, but if you're not like They pretty much all look like 2 people fighting each other. Yeah. But there are a ton of nuances. Like, players that play Tekken would typically not be good at Guilty Gear. Yeah. And vice versa. And people that play Mortal Kombat might not be great at Street Fighter because they just play so differently. And, you know, so I think that even... I really do just think that it's a really well-made game that the source material just has that attraction factor that just makes it damn near impossible to say no to.
That is true. Like, I have not yet had a good chance to play this game, and every time I look at it, I'm just like, oh, fuck. I'm probably going to play it after this podcast because you have it on your PS4.
You should.
I should. Alright, so, that about covers all our topics. Like, holy shit, we did an episode. This sure was an episode of a podcast.
It was indeed. I can confirm.
So, Alex, is there any places on the internet that people can find you?
You know, I listened to you and my boyfriend do this.
Yeah.
And when you did this, I started dreading this question. Because, once again, in an altered state...
Yeah.
I accidentally changed... Not accidentally, but in retrospect, I should not have done this. I changed everything on the internet to... if you ever want to find me on the internet...
Yeah.
Just type in... I just want to make sure you can hear me clearly. Ass job rim hat. As in ass hat and rim job with the words switched. Ass job rim hat on any social media is me.
That is you.
Yeah.
You know, we'll make it a brand. We will make it, like, if I ever get to the merch section, I will donate all proceeds of Ass Job Rim Hat merch to you.
You know, funny story about that.
Mm-hmm.
A while ago, before StarCraft 2 was free,
yeah,
they had like the tutorial that you could download and play for free.
Right.
So it asked me to like make an account on my Blizzard account for StarCraft, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna fucking play this. I'm not gonna buy it. I just want to see how StarCraft 2 is. So I named myself Ass Job.
Yeah.
Whereas on other things on Blizzard, I'm not Ass Job.
Yeah.
And StarCraft 2 became free.
Yeah.
Guess who?
Guess who's
still
Ass
has
Job?
The name. Yeah, I play ranked as Ass Job on StarCraft 2. So if you're hovering around high silver, I'll see you there.
I'll see you there. You get ready for Ass Job.
That's right.
And of course, I'm Joe. You can find me on Paragade, where I write semi-regularly. I also do streaming at twitch.tv JustJoeStars, and I sometimes tweet at JustJoeLet'sPlay. So this has been Paragade After Hours, and as always, remember, always tip your waiters 50%.
That's right.
Goodbye.
Only 50?
Only 50.